Hi guys, welcome and who dat? I'm Joe, and today I'm going to be talking about the upcoming Week 14 matchup that's going to see our dreaded NFC South divisional foe, the Carolina Panthers, come into the Caesar Superdome to take on our beloved, bless you boys, in black and gold, the New Orleans Saints. All right, Carolina is 1-11. The Saints 5-7. As far as records go, Carolina is the worst team in the league. But you can take all that and throw it out the window when it comes to these two teams playing. They are built to beat each other. Saints and Panthers have faced each other once already this year. Week 2, Saints go into Carolina, win the game 20-17. It was tough. Looking back on it now, you gotta expect it. This is not going to be a cakewalk. The problem is, the perspective is, the Panthers are the worst team. The truth of the matter is, if the Saints don't beat the Panthers this weekend, you can expect heads to roll. And I don't know if Miss Gale's got it in her to do it. I don't know if Mickey Loomis has it in him to do it. But this is the litmus test. Before, a couple of weeks ago, it was Chicago. You barely got out of that one alive. This one, not only is the season over, but yeah, I think coaching jobs are over if the Saints don't beat the Panthers. That being said, all of that gets thrown out the window, and you know it. They're going to have to find a way to win this game. So let's talk about the Panthers. You got Bryce Young, rookie. He's feeling it. The NFL's big boy game, and he doesn't have a very good team around him. That doesn't matter when it comes to the Saints. Our defensive line's not getting any pressure. If Bryce Young decides to tuck it and run, he's going to have success. So that's how I feel about the Panthers offense. On defense, I've said the Panthers are good, and they are good. They are ranked in the top 10 when it comes to total defense. For a 1-11 team, not bad. The issue is they're ranked 31st when it comes to scoring defense. So I guess you're going to have to be opportunistic. Get yourself in the red zone. It's kind of like a weakness versus a weakness when it comes to the Saints offense and Panthers defense. But they have parts on that defense that's going to give us problems. The defensive line, of course, Bill Burr, they're going to give us a problem. Secondary, they've got Jeremy Chin, they've got Vaughn Bell, and they've got J.C. Horn back. He was on a pitch count last week, but he is expected to play. And, sometimes the coaches do these things during practice. They'll have someone limited that they don't expect to play. Or they'll tell you they'll be limited, and then they end up playing the whole game. These are the games that these teams play, and the Saints are kind of doing that as well. So we're going to bring up the Saints offense, and we're going to talk about some changes. As far as offense goes, nothing's changed. It's the defense that's got the big changes. But Kendre Miller is still not participating in practice with a bum ankle. And wide receiver Rashid Shaheed still not practicing with his thigh. Derek Carr, on the other hand, was a limited participant Wednesday. Apparently, he was setting a tone when it comes to practicing with high energy. So it doesn't look like the shoulders are going to be a problem. Doesn't look like the back or the rib is going to be a problem. Carr's got to pass concussion protocol, and he's going to have a full participation in practice today, which is Wednesday or Thursday, or he's going to have a full practice on Friday. So there's a big chance Carr's going to play, which is wild. No, a lot of Saints fans don't want to hear that. I think it's crazy. I think if you're going to start practicing with Jameis with the first string and just just go with Jameis for the week and give Carr a rest. And if he's healthy enough to go, he can be the backup. But that's not how the Saints roll. I think ownership or management forced this coaching staff to sign Winston, to re-sign Winston. I don't think they're ever going to want to play him. And if Derek Carr has to go out there with crutches or in a wheelchair, he's going to play before Jameis Winston. So there's that. Also, you got Juwan Johnson. He's got an issue with I don't know, a quad or something, but he was limited. McCoy at center and Andres Pete at left tackle, both limited due to a shoulder injury for both of them. And right tackle Ryan Ramczyk had his normal rest day, though he's dealing with, I think, a foot injury or something. And Jimmy Graham, of course, had his typical rest day. So that's how your offense looks. I don't think we're going to have Miller or Rashid for this game. I think that McCoy and Pete are going to play. They played with these injuries last week. And, yeah, Carr is probably going to play. And he's going to be 7 days removed from his brain getting smashed around in his skull. So I don't expect Carr to look very good, but, hey, if he does. All right, he's one tough SOB nonetheless. Let's pull up the Saints' defense. And this is where the major changes are coming in. I forgot to mention Taysom Hill is also dealing with a foot injury and a left hand injury. But he was out. He didn't practice. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. I think Hill's going to be fine. If that left hand's bothering him, he might not be running tight end routes this week. But, yeah, if Taysom can play, he'll play. We got to keep an eye on that. All right, defense. Isaiah Foskey's out with a quad. Cameron Jordan did not participate with that ankle. He was on a pitch count last week, so it's probably going to be the same thing this week. He's going to be very limited in practice, and he didn't practice yet. And then the two killers, Marcus May gets put on IR for that shoulder injury. We've already elevated Jonathan Abram to the starting active roster, so now May is officially on IR. That means he's going to be out for 4 games. There's a chance he'll come back for the last game, and we've also got Marshawn Lattimore on IR, and this might be the rest of the year for him too. Getting thin in the secondary. Another bum is Malcolm Roach, no longer on this roster. He's on IR, and that's probably going to be for the rest of the year with a knee injury. It might require surgery. So the Saints have acquired 2 players immediately on this active roster. Surprisingly to me. They claimed outside linebacker Monty Rice off of waivers from Tennessee. We were awarded the waiver, and now Monty Rice is on the roster. Nephi Sewell's probably still going to play if Pete Werner can't go, and we have listed Pete Werner as limited in practice. Now, this is where the games come in. There's no way that Pete Werner is playing this week if you're pulling a guy from waivers and putting him on the active roster at that position. I'm sorry, but this is just a game that they're playing. The Panthers are preparing for Werner. I don't think there's a chance Werner plays. So we'll see what Monty Rice is all about. Got waived off of Tennessee, so they're not beating down his door to sign him. We also got a guy off of Sean Payton's practice squad in Denver, defensive tackle P.J. Mustipher. And he is immediately on the active roster. Now, I don't know, when you grab someone off of someone's practice squad, I don't know if you have to be on the active roster for a set amount of games. I believe it's 2. Tony Jones Jr. was that scenario at the beginning of the season when we grabbed him off of Denver's practice squad, and he played 2 active roster games, and then we put him on the practice squad, and then he was snatched up by somebody else. Those practice squad to active roster rules are weird. But if that's the case, we've got Mustafa for 2 games, and we've also got Jack Heflin on the practice squad. Nico Lalos, who could also probably slide in on those NASCAR packages. He's on the practice squad as well. So big shifts here on the defense. Cameron Dantzler still on the active roster at cornerback. And for now, I have Jordan Howden penciled in as a starter to take Marcus May's place, but you also have to consider Lonnie Johnson Jr. Howden got a lot of playing time this past week, and he struggled at times. You expect that from a rookie. We may put Lonnie Johnson in that spot for a majority of the snaps this week, and they could be going back and forth. Jonathan Abram, Lonnie Johnson, and Jordan Howden, all taking the place of Marcus May, who I think was struggling this year anyway. All right, so that's your Saints defense. One more note, Blake Groupie was a full participant in practice, so I guess his groin injury isn't a concern anymore, but I noticed in the game this past week, he could not get the kickoffs into the end zone. It forced us to play coverage. Our coverage is actually pretty good. I think we only allowed 1 decent kick return out of the bunch, but that is an issue. So if he's a full participant in practice, then we'll just see. Like I said before in another video, Groupie's got a lot of football left to go, and he's never played this much football in his life. So let's see if the 5'7" guy can keep kicking the ball in the end zone. As far as the game goes, this is going to be a close game. There's no doubt about it. And style points should go out of the window. And I know they won't. If the Saints don't win this game, heads should roll. If they find a way to win this game, they should be commended because it's a divisional rival, and it's a good defensive team. So the style points are going to count for the fans. I know it will. We can blow this team out, and it really wouldn't matter. My choice is I'm going to go ahead and pick the Saints to win, even though they're undermanned once again and going into the hostile environment that is their own Caesars Superdome. I'm going to pick the Saints to win. Final score, Saints 24, Carolina 22. And, yeah, it's not going to matter much in the end, I think. It's going to make our draft pick worse. And I think it's just going to embarrass the team if we can barely beat a 1-11 football team. But that's who we are as the Saints. We're average at best. And if we can rip off 5 straight wins to end the season, I still won't be that impressed. All right, subscribe to Rosenfield 10 for more videos like this. I'm Joe. I will be doing a review of this game, and it will come out on Tuesday. And until then, I'll talk to you later. Who dat?